Hello and welcome back. Susan Zummo here, intuitive and originator of soul patterning harmonics. Can you believe that we are heading into the second week of September? This has got to be the fastest year I've ever experienced. So this week, when I sat down to ask what we were going to talk about, I kind of posed the question that went something like this. Well, last week we talked a lot about cosmic influences and galactic beings shifting energy with us. So, are we going to talk about angels and angelic frequencies this week? And then I kind of got that internal smile that I get sometimes from them. And they said, "You really do like to separate things, don't you?" And it kind of took me back. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" Well, they didn't mean me in particular, although I think there was a lot of me in there. What I heard was that humanity likes to separate, categorize, catalog, and label. And we have categorized and separated angelic beings from cosmic beings. And there are camps that are formulated around these two beliefs, right? These two thoughts. So then we have the people who work with angels, and they only work with angels, and they don't want to work with anything other than angels. Then we have those who work with the galactics, right? Our cosmic friends, our Palladian friends, our Arcturian friends, our Sirian friends, right? All of those cosmic beings. And they don't really work with the angelics. Maybe they do sometimes, but mostly they like to identify with the cosmic beings. And it kind of brought to my mind, well, why can't we work with both? Why can't they work with one another or work in connection, conjunction, or concert with one another, whichever one of those words you want to use? Why does there have to be a separation? Why do we perceive angelic realms and cosmic realms and never the twain shall meet? Well, that kind of set me back a little bit. And I hadn't thought about it like that. And that's probably true, that inside of us we have that label, right? And so I was asked for us to be open to the possibility that angelic and cosmic forces can work hand in hand in the world and in our lives without necessarily having to be assigned rigid roles and rigid purposes in our lives. That there is a lot of crossover, there is a lot of sharing, there is a lot of expansion, right, and harmony between the two realms. And so I wanted to bring that up today because I thought that was something really good for us to think about. I was also told that we have very specific and very rigid systems in our own beliefs and beings about what each of these groups do and their purpose and who they are. And so there are many aspects within us. There are many parts of us that are not just limited to one role or one purpose. And they said that is exactly the way it is for them, whether they are cosmic beings or angelic beings. And that we should not be so fixed in this angelic does this thing and this cosmic being does that thing. That there is a lot of crossover. So that's like saying, I am just a mother. I am a mother and I am nothing else but a mother, and that's what I do. Well, we know that's not true. So why do we assign those rigid traits and roles to our cosmic and angelic friends? Well, I think it has to do with the fact that they are so grand and they are so expansive that it helps us and it helps our thinking and our ability to relate if we relegate them to a single role that we can wrap our brains around. And so that's something that we're being asked to come out of. Years ago, I studied herbology with a woman, and we went on herb walks and we studied all the different plants and all the different essences and all the things that they each could do. And there was so much overlap. If I think about it, there are so many plants and herbs that are adaptogens. And I asked her about that. And I said, well, why would you use this plant instead of that plant? And she said to me, if you find an herb, a plant that resonates with you, that really calls to you, and you have a great affinity, you can do everything with that one plant. You don't need anything else. And I thought that was great advice. And I saw that as an analogy to what they were talking to me about this morning. Rather than assume that there is a healing angel and there is a writing angel or a clearing angel or a project angel or whatever you want to look at it at, work with all of the aspects of that angelic being that is presenting itself to you. And the same thing for our cosmic friends. There are times where I'll ask a question and someone else will step in with the answer. They're not always from a different soul group or from a different place in the cosmos. They're just an individual that happens to hold the energy and the knowledge to answer the question that I'm asking. So I don't say to my cosmic soul brother or Aharon, can you step over to the side so I can talk to this being instead? Because, I believe that they have more knowledge than you do in this area. We don't do that. We just ask a question, we have a dialogue, and whoever has the frequency that I need at that time steps forward. And sometimes it's just an individual coming from a large group, right? That's individuated from a large group. And so this is how I perceive the angelic realm, that it is a frequency, it is an energy, and it is not a single note. It is a full-on orchestrated concert of individual notes that come to the fore when certain knowledge or abilities are needed and requested. And so if I look at it that way, I don't limit my thoughts about it or my opportunities to work with that frequency. So they wanted me to let you know that they are all aspects available to all of us and that they are not separated. They have different functions, they have different frequencies, and they do have different focus. But it doesn't mean that there's no crossover and that there's a hard line down the middle that nobody ever steps over. That's more in our thinking. So I found that to be intriguing. Now, having said that, as we move into the next week of September, as we move further into September, I was told that stargazers will be especially in love with stargazing as we move into September and into the winter. They told me those who gaze at the stars will be thrilled and enchanted with a dancing light show. There will be many surprises and they will see many unexpected things. And they said, watch the night sky. There will be light shows. There will be messages. There will be sparkling energies dancing in front of your eyes. They said, these are the angelics who are pouring their energy down upon you and upon us for our evolution and for the expansion of consciousness of all mankind. They said, angelics will come closer as you are stargazing. And you don't have to have a telescope, because I asked about that. I'm like, well, I don't have a telescope. They said, no, just look up at the night sky. Be open to the unexpected. Be open to the beauty of the sparkling lights. And if you can't always get to see them, just go out and take a look on a regular basis. You'd be surprised how quickly the clouds will part for you. That's what I was told. Because I said, oh, we've got clouds and they spray stuff on us, and, it's hard to see the sky. And they said, no, go outside and look up. And the clouds will move to the side, and you will be able to see those twinkling cosmic lights, and you will be delighted. And I was delighted when I heard that. They said that contact will come in waking places and in the dream state. The idea is to go out expecting to be delighted, expecting for wonderful things to occur. Not demanding, right? But to have an openness, and they will occur. And they said it will be absolutely wonderful. These are the blessings for the stargazers, the blessings of the night sky, and the blessings of all the cosmic and angelic beings that work in these frequencies. I was reminded that this will definitely be a time to journal and to be open to both realms, within and without. They have different sources, and those sources within us and outside of us are going to be expanding. They're going to be expedited, was a word that I heard. They're going to pick up in frequency and in occurrences, in speed, right? So things are going to be happening quick. Journal, even if it's just a feeling that you come inside with, right? Even if you look out a window up at the sky, think about what you're seeing and feeling, and then journal it, right? Feel into it, journal it, just jot it down. Lots of contact at night and in our sleep states. It's going to be very exciting. If you are a stargazer, you will be dancing. You will be so tickled. Well, then I had to ask about the sun gazers, right? Those who connect to central sun. Those of us who love to sunbathe, who want to be bathed in that bright, brilliant white, yellow, orange light that is our sun, right? They said, yes, connect with central sun. Be open and expand into the brilliant angelic light streams that are pouring in to light gazers. They said sunbathers will find contrast and light shows occurring that will be angelic as well. And they are designed to bring light into your body, to work consciously and to buoy your spirits, to lift our spirits. They said the beings that work in the brilliant light, that resonate and come from central sun, will also be reaching out, that they will be a strong light partner for us, and that they have the ability to activate strong light codes within us. And so these angelic beings, these angelic frequencies coming from central sun are there for the purpose of clearing our path, clearing our future paths as individuals and as a collective humanity consciousness. It is for accelerated growth, accelerated spiritual expansion in consciousness, and we have the opportunity to make great use of them at this time. I was urged to embrace both. Bring that duality within us and harmonize it and resolve it. Be open to the night sky. Be open to angelic and cosmic contact and frequencies from the stars. Be open to angelic and cosmic contact and frequencies from the sun, from central sun. Bring both into our beings. Embrace them and make them ours and integrate them into our being. They said if you will do this, you will shine through the rest of the year and into 26 in a way that you've never experienced before. So there you have it. That's the message for the middle of September. Here we go. It's going to get stronger and better with each passing day, week, month, and year. And so until next week, I wish you many, many blessings.